What's up, party people? You know I always start this show off by showing love to those companies who help make this podcast possible. First and foremost, man, I want to thank my friend, Mr. Ben Poole over at HVAC Tactical. Guys, if you are unaware of the movement that he is doing, you need to check it out. I know most of you looking at the chat know what this is from us talking about it and doing podcasts, but HVAC Tactical, and if you know Ben, he is an amazing person and he has a vision. And it's amazing sometimes to be a part of his vision and just see some of the ideas he has and how he thinks of all of us in the trades. And it's absolutely amazing. It's honored to have him as a friend and be a part of. But guys, check out HVAC Tactical, the website. He offers so many different things. For one, I love to rock his gear. He sent me a free shirt or two, I won't lie, but I buy it because I want to support my friend. I want to support what he does. So I always just buy things and he'll message me and be like, hey, you didn't have to do that. No, I didn't, but I want to because I want to support your movement, bro, and I want to support what you're doing. What he's done with the HVAC Tactical Awards is amazing. Yeah, it's awesome that I was able to win an award, but regardless, whether I won the award or not is irrelevant. Obviously, the award means the world to me. I am forever grateful for it. But that community and all those influencers and people just hanging out together and being able to meet each other has created a badass fucking community of blue collar people. And it's absolutely amazing. I highly suggest that you guys go support HVAC Tactical, buy some of his merch, his shirts, and I trust you that it goes right back into the trades in one way or another with all of the things behind the scenes that he is doing. I mean, he has shirts, hats, decals, long sleeve shirts, rings, belts, you name it. He has it. You're going to rock a brand that you can be proud as HVAC guys. Like, hey, I support this brand. Rather than supporting Nike and some sweatshop or something, you're supporting somebody in the field who's trying to make what we do better. So guys, go support my friend, Mr. Ben Poole over at HVAC Tactical. I want to talk about my friends over at CompanyCam. Guys, I know a lot of you are technicians. You're not business owners or managers, so you can't all make this decision. But we all understand now in the day and age of cell phones and computers and technology that documentation is fucking key. CompanyCam has that shit on lock. The way you take pictures and videos and all that stuff is organized into a nice little folder for that customer that has all the metadata, time-stamped. It covers your ass. All right, it's going to make you look professional to the customers who love that kind of stuff. And it's going to make covering your ass even easier when somebody says, oh, you know, that guy who came and cleaned the coil, like he never came to do it. It looks the same. The customer wasn't home. Well, sir, we have before and after pictures. We have a timestamp of him being there. Not even that, the pictures that you upload that you can use to put online for all your GSLA, your Google stuff. It is absolutely amazing the way that they do it. And they are so affordable in what they do. So I highly suggest you guys, if you're not the manager, go to your boss and say, hey, I've heard this company, it's called CompanyCam, that they integrate with a bunch of the CRMs now. And it just adds on to what you're already doing and makes your job so much easier. And if you guys go to companycam.com/HVAC Uncensored, they will let you try it for free for 2 months and then you will get 15% off. All right, so go check them out. Now let's get on with the show. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil Cavey Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVC Uncensored podcast. I'm your host, Gil KV Jr. Here we are, another fucking wacky Wednesday, another show. I know I did a little mix-up this time, doing a special episode on Monday, which I thank a lot of you. I see familiar names for coming to that, so I really, really appreciate you guys. Real fast before we go, saying hello to everybody. Sorry about the delayed start. You guys know I'm a couple minutes late anyway, but just so everybody knows, any of you guys, friends who ever come on the show, or any of you who use Ecamm Live, know this, that when somebody comes in on a phone or a computer, that a lot of times Safari, if you're on a Mac, you can't use Safari. So we had a little trouble with Nestor coming in, which I should have told him the details beforehand and did not. So that's something I need to add to my email that goes out. Now you know, in case you ever come on. Anyway, hello to everybody. And Sam, I love you, buddy, but it is Nestor, ER. I was right. Trying to bust my balls. But Mr. East Coast being the first one in here, what is up, what is up? Mr. Sam Andrew, Palmer's Heating and Air Conditioning. Mr. Reliable, yo, Adrian, what's up? And guys, just know that Adrian Reliable HVACR is doing a podcast right after this, I'm pretty sure, or like right around the end of it. Mr. Brian Sanders, what is up, my man? Let's see. Say hello to everybody real fast before I start. Mr. Chris Miller, what is up, what is up? Everything HVACR. What is up, Steve? How you doing, buddy? Mr. Brett, what's up, homie? I think I got everybody. So good. Guys, you know who the guest is, man. I'm very excited to have this person on. For one, I want to thank this person for their support. They've always been supportive of me, whether it's been in the podcast or on social media. And then to find out that this person is actually local, like not that far from me. I've been wanting to get him on the show for a while, and it finally worked out. So I'm super pumped. If you guys can help me welcome Mr. HVAC blogger, a.k.a. Nestor with an ER, damn it. What's up, buddy?
How you doing, man?
Good, man. First and foremost, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. I know it's hot as fuck out right now, so taking the time to come on, I appreciate that.
Oh, no, definitely, man. It's an honor. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, thank you, man. And I want to say this real fast. I want people to know, like, a lot of people message me and they're like, oh, I want to come on the show, but I'm not a YouTuber. I don't have a following. And you don't need to have a following to come on here. So if I've ever, implied that or you thought that is not the case. I just love to talking to other people in the industry, in the trade, and hearing your stories. So there are no requirements to be on the show. So I just want to make sure that people know that.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong way of what we do. Like, you hear people's story about how they came in, and it's not always, second generation. My dad did this, my uncle did this, and maybe they didn't start out at install and do service. They started doing this and did that. It's amazing hearing people's story. They went to school, they didn't go to school. Like, there is no right and wrong way. That's just the truth. And there's so many different avenues too. Residential, commercial, industrial, fucking all kinds of stuff. So it's awesome. And one thing I can say is I'm glad that I help people doing this podcast. Like, I get emails like, hey, I watched this video and I learned this and blah, blah, blah. And that's awesome. But dude, I learned so much from doing this as well. Talking to other people, and some of these guys are way fucking smarter than me. You know what I mean? So when I hear them talk about stuff, I'm like, oh, that's how you do that. Like,
I always say you never stop learning.
No, you can't.
No matter how many years you have in the trade, you learn something every day.
Yeah, damn right. You have to constantly be learning, because if you ever think that you've like plateaued and you've learned enough, you're going down. You're either moving forward or backwards. There's no such thing as standing still.
Right.
So if you guys don't know, Nestor is HVAC blogger on Instagram. Is that on like Facebook and YouTube as well?
Yeah.
Nice. Fellow Maryland boy, man. So me and Nestor are going to have to get together in person here soon, but he's literally like 25 minutes away from me.
Yeah, not that far. I'm just down the road.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Do you live in Baltimore?
Yeah. So I live in, it's like Brooklyn Park. So I told you I was in Linthicum. So I'm right by B2B Airport. I can throw a rock at the airport.
Nice.
But I'm trying to get the fuck out of here, though. I ain't gonna lie. So I grew up not far from here, and it's not like it's bad, but I'm ready to move on. I like going to a gas station to get a pack of cigarettes and nobody fucking knows me. At least not from my past or like I went to high school with or something. I want it to be for other reasons, which was actually funny. July 4th, there's all kind of parades, you know that. But there's a parade in Arbutus, which is right by where our office is at Beltway. And we always enter the parade. We'll drive my truck because it's marked and we give out waters and candy. and we're walking down, and some guy was like, "Gil, I fucking love the podcast, man." And like I walked over and started talking to him, and one of the guys, Jimmy, who works with us, he was like, "I thought that guy was gonna suck your dick, man." I'm like, "Hey, man, it's hard being important, bro. Leave the dude alone." But if that guy's watching this, man, all jokes aside, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for saying something, man. Anyway, enough about me fucking bullshitting. Let everybody know your story, man. How did you get into the industry? How long you've been in, and what you're doing now? Just work your way up.
Yeah. Well, I have 11 years in the trade, so I've been here for a while. Man, it started way back in high school. High school, I was getting into a lot of trouble. I was a troublemaker, which
Weren't we all?
I know it might be hard to believe that. Because I see some guys that say, nah, Nestor's, he's too nice to be mean. No, but I had an attitude, man. I had a real bad attitude when I was younger. It all started, like around, I'd say about my 10th grade. I was getting into a lot of trouble. Yeah, I wasn't really heading anywhere.
I'm sorry, did you go to high school around here?
Yeah.
Where'd you go to high school?
Sherwood.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Yeah, Sherwood.
That's your North County beat for our only football high school state championship. We beat Sherwood. Sorry, not to...
So, yeah, basically, my counselor got me and was like, hey, man, what's up? You got to start thinking about your future. You can't be acting this way. You're not going to go anywhere. I got to give him a lot of credit because he really was, on top of me, making sure that I was, focused. He told me about this school. I don't know if you've heard it, Thomas Edison High School of Technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he mentioned that to me. He started telling me like, hey, do you ever think about, maybe getting into the trades or anything like that? I was like, what's that, man? I don't know what that is. He's like, no, it's about HVAC, you electricians, there's so many different types of things to do there. I don't know if you would be interested in it. I was like, yeah, sure. They were going to have an open house. So he told me about it. He's like, I want you to go. I want you to go and see it. So I was like, okay, let's go see it. So I went with my parents. I don't think he was there. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But when I went to the open house and we started walking inside the school and started seeing all these different types. I mean, they had auto mechanic, they had body shop, they had, plumbing, HVAC, electricians, construction. They even had like hotel, like a little secretaries and computer, all that kind of stuff, They had it all. And I was like, wow, I was just speechless. I couldn't believe they actually had something like this for high schoolers.
Yeah.
So I said, oh man, I wanted to be in it. And I was like, yeah, I want to do this. What do I have to do? He's like, well, first, he's like, you're going to have to raise your grades up. You have to pick them up. They were bad. I was failing. So you're going to have to go to summer school, because you got to catch up on your credits. It's like, oh man, that sucks. So I said, man, okay, let me see what I can do. I got to talk to my teachers. I was failing. I had to tell them, hey, what can I do to raise my grades up? I need to raise my grades up. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. And man, they gave me a chance. They were like, yeah, okay, this is what you got to do. You got to make up all this work. You're going to have to come in during lunch and do this work. You're going to get double homework because you got to make up some of this other stuff that you got. And we'll go from there. I mean, they never even said, hey, this is a guarantee, you're going to pass. They were just like, you got to catch up.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you pass. Man, I tell you, I was there. I wasn't able to hang out with my friends. Nothing. Just go to lunch, get my food, and go to the classrooms. It wasn't just one class. I had to go to one class and catch up some work there and then had to go to the other one. And it was like that for like almost my whole 10th grade.
First of all, thank God that guy stepped into your life and made that, because who knows what would have happened. So thank God for people that are out there that do that kind of stuff. And it shows how powerful these open houses are sometimes. Just like I say in life, sometimes an opportunity comes in front of you and it's not fucking glaring with, whoa. You don't even realize how big of an opportunity it is until you take the risk to do it. You risked it. You didn't know what it was going to turn into. It was like, well, fuck, I ain't got any other plans. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. That's an awesome story. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So I did it all, and I even went to summer school to catch up, so I didn't really enjoy my summer. So after that, I was able to raise my grades. I got caught up. I was able to go. It really came down to three things, though. I was interested in auto mechanic, right? Because who doesn't have a car, right?
Yeah.
HVAC and then electrician. I was like, man, at the time I think they were getting paid the most, and I don't know about now, but they get paid pretty well. I looked at it like that, and I also looked at it in like, hey, everyone's gonna need this, someone to come out and fix what they got. But auto mechanic, I said, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not really into cars like that, but I've always liked to, work with my hands. I'm really hands on. But then I was like, nah, I'm probably not gonna do that. So it was really down to HVAC and electrical. And so what really made my decision was that in HVAC, I was going to learn three things: the HVAC side, the electrical side, and the plumbing side. So I said, why just learn one thing? Why not just learn more than one, right? It makes me more knowledgeable, more valuable. So I said, yeah, I'm going to do HVAC. Plus, I had a couple friends that were at the time in HVAC. They were older than me. They were doing HVAC. And I reached out to them, for feedback. Hey, how is this? How is HVAC? Do you like it? The pros and cons. They would tell me. But they never said anything about, hey, it's a good trade and you can make a living out of it. So I said, okay, I'm going to do it. So I signed up for HVAC. And that's when I started to learn about it in high school. Now, you're still in high school. I was a junior, also senior, because I did it for my junior and senior year.
Like VOTEC? Like that kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
You focus sometimes, but then you get distracted. You're still in high school and mature. But I learned it there. That's where I really started learning about the trade in HVAC, was basically in high school. Now, I graduated in 2008. And I don't know if you remember 2008, there was a little bit of a recession going on. Everything was going downhill. So it was hard for me to get a job after that. And they would bring in companies to give us, a prep talk and see how we were doing. They would say, hey, look, once you graduate, come on over. And I had a few offers, but because, I was still immature and not really thinking about stuff. And then also because I didn't have a car, the company that I was going to work for was located in Bethesda. You know where Bethesda is, right?
Yeah, fuck Bethesda.
Bethesda, it's a lot of, yeah, But to get there, I was going to take like 3 or 4 buses just to get there. I didn't have a way to get there. Oh, no, don't worry. He would say, no, don't worry. I got a guy who lives around your area. He'll pick you up, and bring you over. But then you're going to have to find a way to go back home. And I'm like, man, I don't know about that, That's too much, So I just turned it down. I turned it down and I said, no, maybe next time. So I was going from job to job. I was out of the trade. I wasn't doing anything. I worked at pest control. I did a little bit of electrician because my friend was looking for somebody, so I helped him out. I was working at like fast food restaurants, going everywhere. Fast forward to 2012, right? At that time, I was kind of struggling. I was doing pest control at the time, and I was working at Pizza Hut. I had 2 jobs. And one of the guys who was working at Pizza Hut, the driver, he was like, man, I just applied for this HVAC company, and they hired me on the spot. I overheard him and I was like, wait a minute, HVAC? He's like, yeah, man, it's going to be great. Good hours. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing that. It's a career. I was like, no, I know what you're talking about, man. I learned about that in high school. It's good. He's like, yeah, man, I'm going to do it. So I, okay, cool. Let me know how it goes. He woke me up. I was like, man, like, I forgot about HVAC. I thought we were still in 2008, with the recession. They weren't hiring anybody because I was calling. Nobody was hiring. And so after that, he didn't show up. He didn't show up to Pizza Hut anymore. So I said, man, this guy must be doing good then. No call, no show, never came back. I said, I got to go apply.
He said, fuck the hut. I'm making real now.
Basically, right? And so I was like, man, I got to go apply. So I went and I applied. And I practically got hired right there on the spot, which I was surprised too. But I think the problem was for me, it was the hourly rate. They offered me at $8 an hour. I was like, $8 an hour?
What?
$8 an hour at the time. At the time, I know it was like maybe $13, $14 starting off, right? Back then. And I said, $8, man, I don't know. Can you do anything better than that? It's like, oh, I can only go 850, but it's a career, it's all this. Yeah. I'm like, man. And at that moment, I started thinking, and I was like, well, I'm living with my parents. I have a car, pay insurance, phone bill. And I was helping my parents out with, a little bit of rent or food, stuff like that, because I wasn't making a lot. So, I said, you know what? Let's just do it. It's a career.
Yeah.
I gotta learn this. I know at the end of the day, what's gonna get me paid is gonna be the knowledge and it's gonna be the experience. Right? So right now, I'm gonna struggle. It's gonna be tough, it's gonna be rough, but let's just do it. I can do it right now. And he said, okay, let's do it. I started working. I was basically like a janitor there. I was doing the mopping the floors, cleaning the bathrooms, doing filing, restocking the parts room, making sure everything was nice and neat. Man, I kept it clean. I kept it nice, and they loved that. Anything I did, man, I gave it 100%. Just because I was going to be cleaning toilets doesn't mean that I was going to not do a good job.
You showed your work ethic.
You got to do it great. You got to do it.
Like I said, something that we do now, especially with the way younger kids are nowadays, too good to do everything. That's what we have. We have a humility test. When they come in, one of the first days, I make them vacuum, clean the bathrooms, take the trash out. Not that I'm trying to make them a janitor. I just want to see if they'll do it in what they say, how good of a job they do. Because I've cleaned the bathrooms, I take the trash out, and I run the fucking company. It's about humility and what they'll do. So it's amazing how they learn up. Mostly all the people we've had do it have done it. There's been one that was like, yeah, I don't do that. I was like, oh, okay, have a good day, man.
Yeah.
And your opportunity here is over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's great. I think that's great because I think that tells you who that person is, how humble that person is. I think they always saw that. They saw that. It was like, man, this guy, he does a pretty good job. Yeah, they kept me there. The downside was that for 2.5 years, I was doing that.
Yeah, that's a lot, man. That's one hell of an interview process. Well, when you took Votech, I mean, you learned some basics, but at this point, you still didn't really, know the industry, right? Like, you knew, maybe what some things were called. So you still had to learn how to be a tech still, correct?
Correct. Yeah. You learn the basics, the tools, the terminology, little things here and there. You did learn how to, braze. You do brazing. I remember they also had the threading for the gas piping. Oh, man, I hated doing it. Oh, yeah, go ahead and do that. Oh, great, That, and there was also a project that we did by Randolph. It's by Wheaton, Every single year they would do a construction. They would build a house. And so everyone who was working in construction, electrical, HVAC, we would go over there to the job site and actually do the stuff.
Oh, shit.
It was hands-on. So it was great. I mean, it was a great experience. Yeah, I loved it, man. It was great. I just wish if I were to go back, I wish I would have paid a little bit more attention to that and not have thrown away all the information, all the paperwork that they gave us. Because once I graduated, I threw all of that out, And man, I should have just kept that, I should have kept it. But anyways, 2.5 years doing that kind of work. And it wasn't because they wanted to keep me there. It was mostly because some of the newer guys that were getting hired, to take my place, they would fail their drug test. They would get into accidents. They were out doing other things and didn't know that the vans had GPS. It just didn't work out. It didn't work out. And so I was kind of being held back. And so I had to go to the president the CEO of the company. And I had to tell him, hey, listen, you know, I'm trying to move up, you know, and I'm trying to get raises because I'm not going to get a raise if I don't go to school and do my work or pass my tests, because it was all based on that and the performance. And if I'm going to be doing this, you know, then maybe this is not going to work out. I mean, the next day it was like, hey, you know, he got a raise and we got to send him out now. He's ready. So I learned like that. But then everyone started to quit. Everybody started to quit. We had like 7 guys, and one by one, they all started to leave.
So they went from here's the mop bucket to here's your tool bag. Figure it the fuck
Dude,
out.
I'm telling you, man. And I got nervous. I was like, wait a minute. You know, like, hey, who's going to train me? You know, who's going to help me? One of the guys, he put his 2 weeks. He was probably the last journeyman. And he put his 2 weeks, and I rode with him for a week. And that was it. And then it was like, see you later. And now it's like, who is going to help me? So I had to learn little by little. And I was that guy that was like calling the office, talking to the service manager. Hey, man, I don't know what I'm doing here. You know, like, can you help me out? I always tried to figure things out on my own because I think that's probably the best thing to do. But if I got stuck or if I wasn't sure about something, I'd grab the phone, I'd call.
And that's
Because the last
awesome.
is I want to, you know, short something or damage something. I know some guys are risk takers. They'll do it, you know, but I always thought I don't want to do that because then, you know, who's going to pay for the part, you know? I don't want to charge the customer for it. So I would always call before I did anything.
I'll be honest with you though, man, and I don't think it's necessarily the proper way to do it, but I think sometimes getting thrown to the wolves kind of forces you. It's definitely not a healthy process, but
I know.
it kind of forces you to learn quicker than you want because it's like, you know, sometimes as a junior tech, when you have that senior guy with you, you know, oh, if I can't figure it out, he's going to do it. When you don't have somebody else there, and even when somebody's talking you through it, you're the one who's doing the work because I learned just enough to be dangerous working for my dad and ended up leaving my dad, worked for a refrigeration company doing that kind of stuff. And boy, I was fucking shit up. And I've said this story a million times. I would call my dad every call and he would help me. After like 2 weeks, he was like, hey man, you going to give me half your paycheck at the end of the week? And I was like, oh, dad, haha. And this was a life-changing moment, and I thank God that he did this. He said, son, you are never going to learn by calling me. He's like, from now on, he's like, if you're not calling me because you're hurt or something's wrong, I'll talk to your ass after work. Click. And yeah. I went for like another few weeks and I got sick and tired of not knowing what was going on. And that was when I bought every book I could find, was going on YouTube. And back then, YouTube was nothing like it is now.
Oh, no, it was not.
Taking online courses, like I wanted to figure things out. I was paying my own money. Granted, I already had a fucking child back then, trying to go to local supply houses and take classes. And I just wanted to learn everything. And that's really what kind of drove me. But I do think, like, and I tell people, like, making mistakes is okay. Keep making new mistakes. You know what I mean? Learn from it. Like, we have some guys, like, you know, and they'll call, like, hey, Gil, like, I fucked up and I shorted this board out. And they'll be all nervous. And I'm like, all right, well, did you do it on purpose? They're like, no, of course not. I'm like, all right, well, shit happens. You know what I mean? Like, are you ever going to do it again? Fuck no, I'm never going to do that again. All right, well, we'll get another board. Did it cost us a little bit of money? Yeah. You know what I mean? But I want these people to keep moving and learning. Because when you're all timid and you're scared, you're going to fuck more stuff up. That's just the way it works. You know? The other thing I was going to say about the way that you came in is you took that risk knowing you were going to make shit money and you had to work your way up. Now what the problem is some of these schools or things are telling, oh man, when you get out of this fucking trade school, you should be making $35 an hour, hop in your own truck. And then when they go in there and they're like, yeah, dude, we'll give you $15 because you don't know dick. They're like, oh, well, fuck this. And then they leave.
That's the problem. That is the problem. The problem is, and back then too, right, is that most guys, it's the money. They're so focused on the money. Hey, man, I'm not making enough money. I got to go somewhere else. It's like, hey, man, don't focus on the money. The money will come. It'll come. It's not when you want it, but you got to gain the experience and you got to get the knowledge. If you don't get that, you're not going to last anywhere.
When you worry about money, it won't come. When you don't worry about it, all of a sudden it comes. It's kind of the same in business. And what I see happens too much in our industry is people don't think of it as a career. They think of it as just a job. It's my 9 to 5, how I pay bills. And they learn just enough to be dangerous, just enough to get by, and then they stop. And they don't realize they're holding themselves back, because if you really excel in this industry, you find a good company, you can make legit money. Like I'm telling you, every service tech out there, if you're a journeyman, master, whatever, if you know what the fuck you're doing, $100,000 should be the minimum of what you make. And that's not me blowing smoke up your ass. And our technicians, we don't do the commission bullshit, so they're not out there ripping people off. They make good hourly wages, and then we just have other spiffs that pay them for doing their job correctly, being consistent, being efficient. You know what I mean? In our flat rate, if we have, 4 hours to do a blower motor, which I don't think we do, I'm just throwing numbers out there, and they do it in 2, and it's correctly and it works, well, they shouldn't lose for being efficient. So there's different ways for them doing their job. And more companies are like this. And if you find a company like that, you can make legit fucking money while still having a life. You know what I mean? Not having to slave yourself into the ground. And it's the way it is. Probably spiffs is probably the wrong word to use. But Palmer said, look at this. He said, my lead tech makes $125K a year. He is that good. Well, that's fucking awesome, Palmer. You know what I mean? That's the way it should be. That's why I say at the end of every show, man, that you guys should hold what you do to a higher fucking regard, man. You're not just an HVAC tech. You're a fucking HVAC technician. People can't live without what we do. Mm-hmm. That's the God's honest truth. People cannot live without what we do. You're always going to have a job, and robots can't fucking replace us. At least not now.
Heard about it.
Yeah, fucking who knows? They might make a fucking Tesla HVAC guy soon. I don't know. But until that happens, man, you can't beat it. So I'm trying to plan a tour here locally to where I'm going to go to high schools and Votechs and try to, talk to different people. So if I go locally, man, I'll hit you up. Maybe you can fucking come with me.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to spread that word.
Yeah, they would go and they would basically recruit, and that's good, That's good, because if I would have just accepted that, it would have been different. I probably would have known a lot more. Everyone's got their own different journey. I mean, I say the way I went and the way I learned, I don't see anything wrong with it. This is my story, the way I was thrown into the wolves, and I feel like that is the best way. For me, not for everyone, but for some, I think it's the best way to learn. It's like, hey, the basics, go out. Let's see how you do in inspections. Learn. You make a mistake, well, let me go over there and see what's going on, what happened. But yeah, being on top of somebody or having a guy behind you sometimes isn't the best, like you said.
Show them a system and then let them go and see if they follow it. Like, prime example, we have a younger tech, Jimmy. He's actually Ryan, the owner of the company. Ryan's been on here. It's his nephew. We taught him how to do maintenances, and the guy, he was shining, doing exactly what he was told, just needed to kind of crisp up a few things. And we're like, hey, man, we're going to give you some easy, demand calls, like no AC calls. And we gave him a drain call, which can sometimes be easy, but they can also be the biggest liability to the company, because if you don't fix it, water leaks, blah, blah, blah. He goes out, calls Ryan and talks to him like, hey, I think it's this. And he thought it was a cracked drain pan. It ended up, it wasn't. It was just a fitting was loose. It was a learning lesson, Okay, so now we know, okay, he can't do that. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's get him a little bit more training. Let's build him up a little bit more. I mean, that customer, it ended up being a situation where they left a bad review, and I had to call them and take care of it and explain the process, which it's okay. Shit happens. But he learned from it, and it's now when this happens, we need to do this. We kind of helped our procedures and how we do things. But he had to have that opportunity. Nobody expected him to go out there and set the world on fire. It was a test. He failed. Okay, let's fucking study again and pass it next time.
Man, I tell you, you can't make everyone happy. I've gotten bad reviews. Who hasn't? I don't know anybody who hasn't gotten a bad review. I got a bad review because I went and I condemned, to confirm, because they had another company out there to confirm that their indoor blower motor was not working. And I go in there and I confirm it. Yeah, they were right. It's not working. Outside, it's making some noise, the unit outside. I'm like, yeah, I know. Oh, I didn't say that, but I was like, yeah, but, I don't want to turn it on because your motor is not working.
Yeah, it's going to blow up. That's why
Yeah.
it's noisy.
He's like, oh, it's okay. It's really loud. I want you to hear it. And I'm like, I don't advise it. Let me just okay, just go turn it on. He turns it on. It is making a little bit of noise, but he's like, so what do you think? I'm like, to be honest, to me, that sounds normal. Because it did sound normal. It's just the compressor's a little loud.
Moving in the air, it's going to be loud.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, are you sure about that? What do you think? I need a new unit? I was like, well, the system is older. I was like, you should think about it, but I think with the blower motor replacement, I think you should be fine. I mean, was it working before? Was it cooling? Yeah, it was cooling fine. I was like, okay, well, then you should be good, But once I replace that, I'll be able to thoroughly inspect everything else. I got to check the charge. I don't know. He's like, oh, okay. But you think I should get a new? I think you should think about it. And he goes to the unit and just like pushes down on it, and the noise kind of reduces. He's like, yeah, I think it's just making vibration. I was like, yeah, that happens sometimes too. He's like, so why are you trying to sell me a new unit? And I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, I'm not trying to sell you a new unit. I said you should think about it. I mean, it's older. You never want to wait till it breaks down, right?
Yeah, we should tell him, are you going to sit out here every day and fucking push down on it, dumbass? Palmer in the chat just says, Nestor, I got a bad review because the damn distributor didn't have the part they needed.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. We got a bad review because the technician couldn't go. We didn't take care of that area, And so we told the customer, look, I'm sorry, we accidentally scheduled, but we don't cover that area. They put a bad review. It's like, come on.
We've had that.
And then at the end, he's like, I'm an engineer. And once he said that, I was like, I'm done.
I will eat those fucking dudes for breakfast. I love the engineers. I will eat them for fucking breakfast. I get so sick of that. Like, I used to get mad. I would be frustrated. Now when they say that, I'm like, oh, are you really? So I'll start fucking technical stuff and try to get them confused and be like, oh, well, they don't teach that in college for engineering? Oh, okay. Oh, you know what I mean? Just to try to make them feel fucking stupid, because it's like, dude, get the fuck out of my face. Like, I don't give a fuck that you're an engineer.
I hear it a lot sometimes, and I'm just like, I get quiet. I don't say anything else, because why am I going to say anything if they already know? To me, when they say that, they're telling me, I already know.
Well, and people try to use fucking reviews over your head, too. People know that bad reviews can hurt a company, especially a bigger company. Like, we have a 5.0 rating on Google. That means the world to us. Yeah, so sometimes I have to eat the shit sandwich, and do something for these people to get that review taken away, because trying to fight them to get them off is harder than it looks. Even though I did a podcast not long ago with a company that actually does that, but that's a whole nother thing. They'll call you out to do something, and your technician could have been fucking amazing, the best service they ever got. They're still going to leave a bad review because they know they're going to, oh, well, I should got to get my money back or whatever it is. And it's just like, you piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just can't make everyone happy. It's unfortunate that people would write a bad review just because of that.
Yeah, that's why we don't work in the city, man. Like, I don't do any city work for a lot of different reasons. I always say people lie, numbers don't. And profit is low. It's a pain in the ass to park. You deal with a lot of landlord-tenant situations. You got to worry about your truck getting broken into, parking tickets, all these different kinds of things. So we don't go into the city. We have a few accounts, like more commercial stuff that we do, but residentially, we just don't do it. We have another company, a friend of ours who owns a company that he does, and we say, hey, it's out of our service area, but we recommend this place. So we give them another resource, but hey, we don't do it. And we literally did that, like what you just said, did that to a person one time, and they said we didn't do it because we were racist and all this other stuff, and left us a fucking review. Like, it was crazy. And it was like, what are you talking about?
How did it get to this point? Like, what happened?
Yeah, like they're recording the phone call and the guy just goes fucking bananas. You know, and he was like, oh, you don't come to the city because your company's racist. We're like, no, it's not our service area, but you can call this company. Like, it was a big deal, man. It was crazy. Like, people are fucking lunatics nowadays. And while they're saying that, you know, two of the techs next to me are African-American, and they're like getting pissed. They're like, where the fuck's this dude live? You know, like, I want to go to his house. I'm like, no. It's not worth it. Don't let what those people say, you know, fucking bother you. So it's crazy. So did you end up ever actually going to school, or did you just do it all like in the field, just learning it?
They factory trained us at that company that I used to work at. Everything was factory trained. And that's another reason why I stuck around, right? And I said, you know, $8, $8.50 an hour, whatever. You know, I heard a lot of good things about the schooling. And I would ask the technicians that were there, hey, how was the schooling, man? Schooling's the best. Every guy was not happy working there, but they would say good things and positive things about the schooling. So I said, you know, I want to do that. And they gave me suggestions like, hey, look, advice. When you go and you start your schooling, write and type everything. Type it all. You know, write it down and keep it, because that's going to help you once you move forward. You get your license and you could always look back. I said, you know what? That's right. So as soon as I started the school in there, I started writing everything down. And then I'd go home and I'd type it into my computer. And then I'd print it out. I'd get a binder. I'd get those see-through folders and I'd put the paper in there and I'd keep them. So I have all that information. I have like 7-10 binders.
Yeah, I got a bookshelf back there of all the stuff that I used to have, dude.
So, I mean, from the basic to like oil, to boilers, to heat pumps, gas furnaces, two-stage, stuff like that, you know, all of that, thermostats.
Somebody asked Nestor, how long ago was this when you were doing that?
What, this was like 2012, you know, 2012, 2014, 15, around there, 16.
Nice.
Yeah, I left the company in 2020. So I'm at a new company. I've been here for 3 years, you know. I just decided, you know, it was time for a change. You know, the pandemic was crazy. But I knew that at that time, 2020, I knew I was going to either I was going to stay there or I was going to move on. And I decided to move on.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize for us where we are, being so close to like Washington, D.C. and having so Maryland is and parts of Virginia is just covered with government employees, government contractors. So I think the pandemic was a little different for us just because of different things and how they would do things. Like a lot of those government workers, you know, were like strict in how they did stuff, like wouldn't let you in their house and, you know, like all kinds of stuff. It was weird.
Last thing was crazy because, you know, we couldn't find any masks. So we were going into people's homes without no mask. And I'm like, oh man, I didn't feel comfortable, you know, but I was like, we got to do it. I was hoping that, you know, when they were like, hey, everyone's got to stay home, and they started giving the list, you know, remember in the news, they were giving the list of who, and I said, labor workers have to work. Oh, great. You know, hey, but it helped. It helped.
Yeah, and it made people realize the importance of the trades and what we do. You know, how important and essential we are to, you know, everything that goes on and what people do and how much they need us, you know, and business wise, I knew in the beginning, the shock, I knew it was going to slow down. People were panicked. They weren't going to buy in their house. But I was like, as soon as it gets hot, they're not going to give a fuck about this pandemic. They're not going to sit in their house and sweat. So yeah, you might have to wear a mask and fucking glove and be in there like a surgeon. But people ain't going to sit in their house and sweat. They're going to call the fucking HVAC guy to come out.
Home now, too. So now everyone's realizing, hey, my AC doesn't work when it's hotter outside. Because they would be at work. They wouldn't realize that they had a problem.
It's crazy. Apparently we have a new to the trade. Someone asking a question. Pub chat. It's cool to be in here, even if you are a homeowner or new to the trade. But just please know this. I don't know if you're a man or a woman. You're more than happy to sit in here and conversate and all that kind of stuff. But if you're not in the trade, you know, we don't want to see somebody get hurt. You know, everybody in here and what we do, we're all professionals and we're very good and trained at what we do. So if you don't know what you're doing, don't do something without the proper knowledge. I don't want to see somebody get hurt. More than happy. There's a lot of smart people in the chat to answer your questions. That's fine. But if you are a homeowner, please be careful and don't hurt yourself, okay?
Oh, yeah. No, call a professional.
Yeah. And sometimes you can't tell. Sometimes they are new in the trade and they just don't know. So I don't want them to be afraid and not ask questions. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you are new to the trade, pub, I don't want you to be afraid to ask questions. I mean, we all have them. Please ask away.
Okay. I thought he wasn't in the trades.
It's first based on the questions. Rookie, asked him, "Are you a homeowner?" He said, "No, new to the trade." So.
Oh, good. Keep it up, man. The right track.
Yeah, I have my oldest son graduated high school and he's going to college to play baseball, but he wanted to do welding and he kept wanting to come work for me. And I was like, no. And I said, my dad did this, but I was a knucklehead. And my dad, thank God, gave me a gift for me to be able to provide for my family, and give my family a life that I can be proud of. But I told my son, I want you to go try and do whatever it is that you want to do. If God forbid that is to fail, then obviously I'll teach you this so that you have a way to provide for your family. But I don't want you to do it just because it's what I do. That's not what I want. It'd be different if he was like, all into it. Like, yeah, he used to come with me and do stuff when he was a kid. But as he got older, he never came with me. He didn't really show any interest in it. It's like, it'd be different if he was like, I want to go work with dad. I love what dad does, blah, blah, blah. That would be a different story. So I was like, go live your life, go do your thing. If it happens to fail, come back and then we'll do it then. So far, so good. He's getting big as fuck though, so I fucking smack him around a little bit, man. I'm like, I don't give a fuck how big you are, bitch. I'll still beat your ass.
Nice, man. He's the one that's the pitcher, right? He's doing pitching? Yeah, man. I saw a couple videos you posted. He's good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, he's been doing really good. He had a little shoulder tightness and stuff that he had to take it easy for a little bit. But we were in Ocean City last weekend for a tournament. It was supposed to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but my youngest daughter's birthday was Friday, so we didn't go until Saturday morning. We drove up and played 2 games Saturday, and then it's what's called pool play. So you get so many games, and then by the seeding, then Sunday, if you keep winning, you keep playing. Well, we kept fucking winning. We made it all the way to the championship game, ended up running out of pitching, and ended up losing. But we didn't leave Ocean City until fucking 9:30 at night to drive all the way back home, the 2.5, 3 hours or whatever, counting traffic, so I can go to work the next day. And I was like, fuck. So,
but that, everyone talks bad about baseball. I love baseball.
Baseball is guaranteed money, man.
Everyone's saying, baseball is not a sport, baseball this, baseball that, it's like, come on, man.
America's pastime, dude. It's, you know what I mean? When you think about America and you look back, I mean, you think about baseball. I mean, I get it. People who don't know the game, I get them saying it's boring to watch because it is. If you don't love baseball, then I get it. It probably is boring to watch to you. Me, I love the game. So it's different when I watch it because I understand the X's and O's and how hard it is for them to do what they're doing, whether it's professionals or whatever. But, I enjoy, especially my son now, I know this traveling stuff is coming to an end. You know what I mean? As he's getting older, when he goes to college, they're going to travel, but I'm not always going to be able to go with him. It's different. So I'm trying to enjoy it while it lasts. So every weekend we're doing something for baseball, some kind of tournament. He plays on 3 different teams. So it'll literally be this team, that team, this team, but it's fun, man. I enjoy it. Sitting back, just being a dad, watching fucking baseball. It's cool. Plus just joking with the other dads. Some of the conversations you have watching these kids play baseball is fucking hilarious.
I can only imagine, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. You have any kids yourself?
Dad get all crazy up in there?
What's that?
A dad going all crazy?
Sometimes they do, man. And especially these tournaments because these are legit elite teams. These aren't just the run-of-the-mill rec ball shit. So it gets heated, and this week there was a game and this team was just talking so much shit and it was kind of close and then we just started to fucking pull ahead of them And I guess they knew, like, fuck, we're not going to win this. One of the dads on the other side made some kind of stupid comment. And one of the guys I'm with said something to him. And the guy fucking like got up and started walking around the backstop. So I was like, oh, fuck this. I started walking back to him. And I was like, hey, he was a little short dude. I was like, hey, man, you ain't tall enough to ride this ride, but you want to take a chance, you're more than welcome. He just turned around and went back. I was like, boy, I will beat the fucking brakes off of you. You better go sit back in your fucking chair. So sometimes it gets crazy, or people wanting to fight umpires and shit. Like, it does get crazy. But for the most part, like, some friendly talking shit is fine, you know. But, you know, some people do take it too far.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. I don't know if you heard me. Do you have any children yourself?
I don't. No.
No.
I'm single. I don't have any kids. I have 2 nephews. They're basically like my kids. Yeah, Nathan and Noah. So
Nice.
yeah, shout out to them.
That's awesome. Yeah, tell all your friends about HVAC Uncensored and just make sure you download it, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I started. You're the first podcast I started watching. Yeah, I started this. When were the awards? They were February, right?
Yeah, it's the end of January, beginning of well, yeah, this year was the beginning of February, yeah.
February, yeah. Honestly, that's when I started watching. I was looking for clothing, right? Because I was trying to get some HVAC gear, and I ran into HVAC Tactical, and I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" So I started scrolling down and seeing all the clothing, and then I noticed, I think on there it was saying about some award show, right? And I was like, "Oh man!" So I put it on my calendar, and I was gonna watch it. And I started watching. I saw you get your award, and I was like, "Man, a podcast!" I didn't even know they had a podcast. So then I downloaded it and I started listening to it. So I started my Instagram account that same day, and I started sending people a request, you know,
Fuck yeah.
and that's how I started it, you know. So I started this in February. I'm new to this. I wanted to get involved because of the community. I started seeing the community, that HVAC community. Man, I was like, I got to get involved. You know, I've never seen anything like that. When I started working, you always heard so many negativity. You know, these guys were getting all negative. When I started, some of these guys didn't even look at me. You know, they'd see me walking with a big smile and say good morning, right? And some of these guys would just look at me like, why is he smiling? You know, why is he smiling? And they'd be like, hey, look, just give it a few years. You know, like basically saying, hey, you know, you give it a few years, you're not going to be smiling like that anymore. You know, but why? You know, why? The senior guys didn't want to help, didn't want to, you know, help the newer guys. Why? Why not?
It was like that for the longest time, man. I think that, like, I don't know. I think there were so many guys out there, like, that were insecure with their situation that they were just always so afraid to help somebody else, like teach them what they know. They're like, if I teach this guy too much, he's going to take my job. And it's like, that's not the case, man. Like, we're in a shortage. If anything, by you helping the team around you better, it just makes your job easier. These guys are just going to respect you.
That's how I always saw it. So I never understood that. And I'm like, man, is this how it really is? Is it really like this? Why are people, I can't, I'm not like that. I'm like, I can't be like that. So I kind of felt like, you know, that's not right. You know, like you shouldn't act that kind of way. So when I started seeing this, I saw a whole different side of it. And obviously when those guys moved on from a different company and I was basically the senior guy there, I started changing that. You know, so every guy that came in, you know, I wasn't that guy that was going to be ignoring them or not talking to them or telling them, go do this, go do that, you know, like being a boss. I wasn't going to do that, you know. You can't, you know, you got to be humbled. You got to be humble in here.
Plus, I have always loved helping people. And it's always been good to give back. And this is something else that I've said a million times, but following Jim Bergman from, you know, Measure Quick and stuff, when he made the comment, you don't really know something till you got to teach somebody else. And when I started doing that and helping other people, I had to really learn to be able to show them it made me better. And it's rewarding. Like it really is. It sounds corny, but it's so fucking rewarding. And dude, when I started this podcast, like I never in a million years thought it would turn into what it turned into. I really, really didn't. My sole intention was it was fun. It was a cool little hobby. And I wanted to give back to a trade that has given me so much, you know? I didn't know how to podcast. I didn't know anything, dude. I watched YouTube videos and taught myself how to do it. The whole HVAC podcast thing was kind of at its infancy. I mean, obviously, Brian Orr, HVAC School was out, you know, Zach Ciota, Shop Talk. You didn't have many. There wasn't anything what it is now. And if you'd asked me then, I would have never thought 5 years later I'd still even be doing it. You know, it would even be a thing. I figure this is a fun ride. It could end at any time, and I'm just going to enjoy it while it lasts. But I like that it's getting to be like in the beginning, there was like bickering between different shows, and I may be involved in that. But I love how it's turned into now. Like a lot of these guys know if they say, hey, Gil, I want to start a podcast, I'm the first person to help them. You know, I don't know everything, but I'll help them in any way because by creating that kind of community and we help each other, that just reinforces, like you said, the community that we're building. You know, I was Facebook. That's where I built my following and then the audio podcast. I never even went on Instagram. And then when I finally did, I was like, oh my God, this is a whole new world. Like all these amazing people that I didn't even know. And now I have so many friends because of it. Like, and the community is so strong. That's why I love it. And I highly suggest that if anyone is able to go to an HVAC Tactical Awards show, do it. Even though it gets better and better every year, the experience is amazing and you will meet so many fucking cool people. Like right now during the day when I call people, I call more people that don't live near me or I've never even met in person than people that I grew up with. That's how close that I've become with some of these people. Like it's crazy. It's fucking awesome.
Family. They become family.
Yeah.
I plan to go in January. I already registered. And I guess I'm just waiting for the tickets to become available, right?
So you 100% are going to go?
Yeah, I definitely want to. Yeah, I got to get my hotel and stuff, but yeah.
What's your last name, mister? I'm going to put you as an HVC Uncensored employee. So go on there and say that you work for the podcast. Trust me, you get a whole bunch of perks from this.
Oh, really? All right. Lovo, L-O-V-O.
You're going to get a media badge. Ask Rookie about the perks you get from the media thing, dude. It's crazy. Like, we have a room that is just for us where you get free food, free drinks, like all kinds of stuff. Like, all the after parties, we're all invited. Influencers are all invited. So you go and you get free food, free drinks. Trust me, it's worth it.
Oh, man, that's nice. So, yeah, meet everybody and see everybody over there.
Yeah, it's so much fun, dude. That's awesome, man.
Nice vest for Chicago.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I need to buy a new suit. I have suits, but I need to get them, like, tailored.
That's what I mean, like a vest.
Oh, yeah.
Like a bullet vest?
Yo, yeah. No, I didn't get what you said. That's my fault. Come on, man. We're from Baltimore. Chicago, we'll be fine. We'll fit in, even though it is crazy. But yeah, I need to buy a new suit, though, man, because what I've been doing is I've been going to Men's Warehouse, and I've just been renting one. And then, even though it is pretty easy, so I don't know, rather than having to travel with a fucking suit bag and shit, I just rent it and then I pick it up in the city that I'm going.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah. And then I just take it back. But the only thing is, a lot of times Rookie's got to help me because when I'm there, my time is so fucking jam-packed. Like, I'm podcasting here at this pavilion. I got to be at this place to talk to these people and then go here and do this and do that. And Rookie literally helps me. Like, he's like, hey, bro, you got to be at the Yellow Jacket booth in 15 minutes. Like, he literally keeps me straight. And ever since we met, he's always done that at AHR. So that's why, like, when we go, like, I always pay for the hotel and buy his ticket because he always helps me out and does things, and he's never asked for anything. You know, he's became my man. So he said, yep, I'm the asshole. But next year, I am not going to podcast as much. I think I'm going to podcast once each day. And then that's all I'm going to do. I still have to do my sponsorship stuff at those places because, I mean, they pay me all year. I can't say anything. But I want to have more time to just be a normal, just walk around and meet people.
Yeah, you got to enjoy it.
Yeah. And it's hard because when you're working it like the way I am, I mean, it already goes by fast. But it's literally like you blink of an eye and it's like, fuck, it's Wednesday and I got to fly home tonight. Like, This sucks. So I want to have some time, even though the fucking parties are great, hanging out with people and just having a good time. Like it really is fun. The first night, me and Rookie stayed with, well, we got a place together, staying with them, with my buddy Tersh Blissett and Josh Crouch from the Service Business Mastery podcast. Tersh is a good friend of mine. We had like this penthouse thing in Atlanta, and we had a party there, and it was fucking awesome. Like there's a bunch of pictures online.
That's cool.
Yeah, drinking and shit like that. We had a balcony that like fucking overlooked the fucking city of Atlanta. It was pretty badass.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I gotta go, man. All I gotta get is my hotel. That's it. And the flight, and that's it.
The earlier you book them, the cheaper you get them.
I'm gonna do it probably this weekend.
And most of the hotels, when you book them, you don't even gotta pay for them until you check in.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of them you don't even got to pay for. I mean, they might ask you for a card or something, but they don't charge it until you actually check in. They'll let you book it. Most of them do. All the ones I've done, they didn't charge me until I checked in. It was funny. I ended up booking a hotel for Atlanta before I talked to my buddy Tersh about when he rented this place. And he was like, fuck it, dude, just come stay here. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm like, well, my buddy Rookie's with me. I'm like, and he was like, yeah, fuck it, bring him too. And I was going to cancel my room. And then Rick from HVACR Survival was like, hey, I'm going to AHR, but all the hotels are booked. And I'm like, well, hey, I have a room booked, just call and change the name. And then, you can have my room. So it worked out. It was kind of funny. Yeah, it was crazy. I can't follow directions. Me and Rookie were walking to a dinner one night and we walked fucking like 8 miles in the wrong fucking direction.
No way.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, it just said it was down the street, not even paying attention to it. So then we called an Uber, and the guy was like, yeah, you need to go back that way. I was like, damn, good thing we decided to call an Uber. Thanks, Palmer, for coming in, man. I appreciate you. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, man, we got to do it. I got to go because I see the videos, and I saw you meet different people, different companies, brands. I got to see that. It's amazing. I saw that and I got to be a part of it. So,
and this is when you start to get those kind of relationships when people want to send you their products and, you get to talk to them and realize how cool they are. And they, can put a face to a name, when they're like, for all you know, they might follow you and you don't know. And then they're like, you go there like, hey, my name is Nestor. I'm HVC blogger. And they're like, oh shit, I've seen your stuff before. You know what I mean? Like that's literally how it happens. And I've been talking to a lot of people and, when I would get there and they're like, Gil, it's nice to meet you. You know what I mean? They're like, where do you do? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm the general manager, a longtime technician, but now I'm the general manager of a company in Baltimore. And then I also do the HVAC Uncensored podcast. And they're like, no shit, that's you? I'm like, yeah, that's me. You know what I mean? So it's funny. Orlando. So this is a couple of years ago. We were standing outside the solder weld booth and it was like me, Chris Stevens from HVACR videos, HVAC reefer guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but there was a couple of us, and these like group of young kids walked up, and they're watching the demo, and then Mike happens to go, yes, and this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so, and then this is Gil from HVAC Uncensored. You would have thought those kids, like, when he said me, like, they, like, saw somebody special. These kids came up, like, wanted me to, like, sign their shit, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, dude, like, I'm a HVAC tech, man. It's cool. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not, man. I mean, it was funny. Like, I'm fucking Michael Jordan. I'm like, dude, I'm a HVAC tech. Like, I put my pants on like you, but it's awesome to have that feeling, when people come up to you. It's cool.
That's good. That's good feeling. That means you're getting to a lot of people.
And I don't know why people like to listen to my dumbass talk, but I'm grateful that they do, and I provide some kind of entertainment or value to them, man. Because, I mean, the podcast is at, a little over 3.5 million downloads now, 5 years, man, which is fucking crazy. I don't get it that people will download the audio, but trying to get this motherfucker to watch the videos fucking doesn't happen. But whatever. If that's what they happen to, like, listen to when they're driving, then so be it. That's my quirk.
It's because they're driving, and they'll listen to it. I know sometimes for me that's easier. Sometimes as I'm driving, I'll put it on YouTube and I'll watch it, but I'm not really focusing or watching it on because I'm focused on driving. Or if I'm like in between calls and, my next call is an hour away or whatnot, I'll watch it for a little bit.
Yeah, I do a lot of them on like the podcast sites because now I understand the analytics, and the downloads is what really helps people. So I'll subscribe to them so it automatically downloads. Even though I like watching the video versions of them too, especially some conversations like that's why, like I was saying last week, when it's just me and I'm interacting with the chat, sometimes that's hard because if you're listening to the audio, you don't see the comments. You don't understand who I'm talking to and why I'm saying what I'm saying. And the audio is what pays the bills around here. So I got to make sure the audio podcast sounds okay. But so far, so good. I have a few things I'm going to venture on soon. One that should be out in the next month is it's not really HVAC related. Kind of when I talk about my past addiction and things like that, it's pretty much going to be like HVAC Uncensored, like addiction diaries, where I'm literally going to tell my story in detail, and I'm just going to put it out there in the hopes that somebody else hears it and it helps them. I meant to have this done by last month because last month was Men's Mental Awareness Month, and I was kind of pissed at myself. I just had so much stuff going on that I couldn't do it. So these aren't going to be live. The audio will just come out and people will be able to listen to it. So if anybody's interested in that, it's going to be the audio version only. I probably won't put the video out. So if it's something you're interested in, go ahead and check that out. I'll let you guys know before it comes out, but it should be out next month.
I think that's good, man. I think it's always good to tell your story because I think that helps. That helps, even if you've never been through a situation like that. But we can all learn from it, whether we've been through it or whether we haven't been through it. And I'm sure once you tell it, you're gonna have a few people come to you and say thank you. Thank you for telling your story because it helped me. So yeah, man, that's good, man. Proud of you. That's good.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. And it's cool being local and being in supply houses and, people know who I am. But I never did this for fame or nothing like that. Let me take that back. I'm not saying what I have it's not fame, it's recognition, but it's cool because I want to bring that notoriety to our trade, to our industry, to people that have figures, to show people out there doing things the right way, and something that maybe the younger crowd will get interested in and let them see like, well, damn, I sucked at school. Like maybe college isn't for me, man. Like these guys are cool and they're like my dad or like my uncle and they make good money and this looks fun, like that, to like make our trade enticing and to be able to give myself a big enough platform that I can go to a school because they're gonna be like, who the fuck are you and why you want to talk to my students? Oh, well, I have a award-winning podcast that a lot of people listen to, and I'm an advocate for the trades, and I love to come in and talk to your students. You know what I mean? I got to have a little bit of weight behind me, or they're going to be like, fuck you, schmuck, get out of my school. So
you guys are a very big part of that. I mean, this community has been able to grow because of you guys, So thank you guys for doing that. I mean, hey, I started it because of you guys.
It's funny you say that because I didn't know that, bro. Like, I didn't know that you started that, and you've got almost as many followers on Instagram as I do. I probably didn't start that much before you did, but I know you're almost close to me. But that's awesome. I'm glad that could inspire you to fucking do that, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I really didn't, and I'll be honest. Like, I joke, and I am very proud of winning this award. I had no fucking clue that I was going to win. Like, and me and Ben Poole were talking about it when he was just here recently, and me and Ben were hanging out. And he was like, Gil, I wish a camera was pointed at your face because if you watch the video, how it literally went down is they showed, Brian Orr, they showed me, they showed Tersh and them, the three finalists. And then, the HVAC jerks are up there and they go, oh, well, the winner is sitting at this table. Well, me and Tersh are at the same table. I'm like, okay, shit. I'm like, damn, Tersh won, man. Like, fuck yeah, he's my boy. That's awesome. And then they were like, Gil Cavey. I was like, what? Yeah, I didn't think because obviously Brian Orr has been like one of the kings of the shows. And then I have so much respect, for my friend Tersh. Like, since he does more of a HVAC and service business related podcast, I don't feel like a lot of people understand the influence that he has had on what a lot of us do. Like I've said it a million times, like The reason that we have podcast pavilions at AHR are because of people like Tersh. Like, and a lot of people don't realize that, and they should, because I'm grateful. Obviously, he's a really good friend of mine. We talk all the time, but like some of the legwork he put in, literally wheeling around a fucking like karaoke looking machine with a microphone and talking to people, stuff like that is why we have those pavilions. And then also, Nicole Bush, who is the head of media relations for AHR. It's fucking amazing to see how it's grown. Like, I remember the first podcast pavilion where we thought it was awesome at the time, but it kind of sucked compared to what we have now. Like how it's just keep getting better every year. It's awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
It's growing. It's growing. That's good.
Yeah. And I tell people, man, like I suggest everybody to start one, like if it's something that you truly want to do though, don't just do it to do it, because a lot of people don't realize how much work goes into doing these things. Like there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and I do all this myself. My wife helps in the background, checking emails, talking to sponsors. And, obviously it's not just about them paying you to do stuff, but making sure that you're doing what they want. You're talking about certain things and making certain reads and making videos and promotional stuff. Sometimes it's traveling to different places. And then also like getting new guests. You know what I mean? So thank God from friends, like the software that you booked on has made it so much easier. Because back in the beginning, I used to just write it down. I'm like, oh, okay, you want to do the 12th? Like, all right, cool. And I'd fucking double book. I'd go to do a Zoom call and like 6 people come in. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, this isn't going to work. You know what I mean? So it's funny. Biggest thing I've done is hired an editor, man, because that took so much stuff off of me. I remember like staying up on fucking Sunday nights to edit the podcast until fucking 2:00 in the morning and then get up and go to work. I kept trying to make it sound a little bit better. And now my editor makes it sound way better than me, and he does it fucking simple. So it's been an amazing journey. I'm definitely forever grateful for some of the amazing people that I've met and continue to meet. So it's awesome. Yeah.
That's great.
But
I'm proud.
Thank you, buddy. Well, I've kept you way longer than an hour, dude. Nestor, I appreciate you coming on, man. And like I said in the beginning of the show, I thank you for your support, man. Like, seeing you in my comment section all the time, being here every week, commenting on social media. Like, I really, really, really appreciate that. And if I can ever help you in any way, man, all you got to do is fucking reach out to me. And since we're so close, we'll definitely get here and meet in person, dude. I'll buy you dinner or something. We'll do something and hang out, bro.
All right, man. I appreciate that, man. No problem. Really a pleasure.
Let everybody know, if God forbid they don't know, how can everybody get in touch with you?
Basically, mostly on Instagram, HVAC blogger, YouTube, but I haven't been really able to make any videos yet. I kind of find it difficult to be able to record and do stuff at the same time. I don't know how some of these guys do it, but it's small. And then Threads, I guess that's the new thing now. It's like the new Twitter.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know about that yet. I feel like such an old man when it comes to Instagram, dude. Like, apparently I had a business account for the longest time. Like, I was so mad that I couldn't put, like, cool songs on my post. And then Mike Flintstone, we were at AHR. He's like, Gil, give me your phone. I was like, no shit. I'm like, I need a creator account. And he was like, you're welcome. I was like, thank you, brother. Because I was like, man, why can't I get these fucking cool songs? Everybody's playing, like... Because I remember going there, I wanted to make a video using Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play. And I'm like, why can't I get this fucking song? And then when I finally was able to do it, that's when I put the video out. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you, man. Yeah, it's awesome, dude. Well, I'll tell you this, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. It's awesome. Like I say, it's people putting out their work and willing to put themselves out there says a lot. It doesn't mean we're perfect. It means that we're committed and we're willing to show what we do, even when sometimes it's wrong, and say, fuck, I did this, but I made a mistake, and this is what I did. So it takes a lot of balls for people to do that. It's easy to be a keyboard warrior and sit back and fucking, be a pussy who just bitches like, oh, your fucking work sucks, man. But you don't ever show what you do. So I appreciate what you do, man. I'm glad that you watched that thing and decided to get on social media and join that community, my man.
Man, thank you, man. It was fun being here, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome. And I messaged you my phone number, dude. It should be in the IG messages. Text me your number and I'll save you in, man. We'll stay in touch here.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll do that.
If you got to go, you can roll, or I'm going to close the show out if you want to hang tight. Totally up to you.
All right. Sounds good, man.
All right, brother. Oh, shit. Everybody in the chat. What is up? What is up, man? We got to talking and bullshitting and went like way longer than an hour, but it's a good time, man. This is what I love, having people on like this, man. I just enjoy the conversations. Tongues, I haven't seen you in forever. What is up, my man? I hope everything's okay, buddy. I haven't seen you in a while, so I was wondering. But thank all of you for coming to watch the show, man. I really appreciate you. I want to thank Nestor again for coming on. He's an awesome dude. I'm glad to get to know him and hear his story, to be able to start this and build a friendship, man. Like, I love meeting new people. It's amazing. It's one of the best things that I love about doing this podcast. So thank all you guys, man. You know that I appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you follow the podcast on all the social media sites. You know, the more I can build that up, the more I can do for you guys. I can get to more people, help more people. I do have some giveaways that I'm going to do. There's just been so much shit going on. I just haven't had time to do it. But Yellow Jacket, I have another combustion analyzer. I have a couple of things to give away. So I'm going to do all that stuff soon. So make sure that you stay tuned. Pretty much, if you guys just follow me on YouTube, Instagram, and then Facebook. You don't got to join the Facebook group. Really, it's just the HVAC Uncensored podcast, the business page, and then a 5-star review. That really means the world. That's kind of one of the analytics they're looking for now. And then watch these podcasts on here after the fact. Get my watch hours up. All this time, and I'm still like 750 watch hours away from actually fucking making any money on YouTube. Fucking pricks. Anyway, man, let me close this out. Guys, remember to be safe out there. We all have somebody to make it home to. Keep your head on the swivel, all right? We live in a crazy world, and we need to be careful out there. You know, I don't care if your best friend tells you, hey, man, the breaker's off. Double check. Just make sure. Don't be in a rush. Slow down. Do things right. Be safe, okay? Do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy or girl. All right, we talk about it all the time, man. If you're going to fucking do something, do it to the best of your ability, or don't fucking do it. Be proud of what you do in the HVAC trade, okay? Hold yourself to a higher regard. You should. What we do is fucking important, and it's needed. All right? If COVID didn't show you that, then nothing will. If you don't know something, then fucking learn it. Don't be okay with saying, oh, I don't know. You know, people say ignorance is bliss. Yeah, but it's only bliss for so long. Once you know, it's no longer bliss. It's just ignorant. So listen to a podcast, some of these awesome YouTube channels. You know what I mean? Like Brian Orr, what he does. Mr. Craig Migliaccio from HVAC Service Tech. If you're in residential HVAC, there's no better channel to learn this trade than Craig. Hands down, there's not one better than his as far as the fundamentals and the teachings of what you're supposed to do. You know, sharpen that knife, sharpen your skills on your time. I say this every week. You know, you look at professional athletes and they get done practice and you hear stories of these people, then they go work out again. They go back to the gym, and that's what makes them elite. There's no different than this. I'm not saying like don't enjoy your family, but keep sharpening your skills, being the best at what you do, and master your fucking craft. All right? And I appreciate each and every one of you. I want to thank all of you so much for the support that you give me. It means the world to me. I'll keep talking on this microphone as long as you guys keep listening. All right. So until next week, I love you, mofos. Go check out my man Adrian on Reliable HVACR with the awesome show that he's doing. All right. Until next week. See you.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you to all my moderators. Rookie, have a good night, my man. Good to see you, Tunj.